Hello, listeners. This is episode 32. No, it isn't. This is episode 34? 33. This is episode something in the 30s of Smooth Traffic. And today we're going to talk about electric car technology. I've been out in an Aston Martin. We've received a letter. And did Ben kill...
Is that going to be a common theme now?
On the last episode, we discussed the fact that I'd been hit with a parking ticket.
Criminal.
How dare you? Which had the incorrect registration number on it. As I said I would do, I phoned the council. I explained the issue, and they said, could we have the parking ticket reference number, please? And I thought, oh, here we go. This is where I end up getting stung. So I gave them the reference number, and they had a look, and they said, oh yeah, I can see that it doesn't match the pictures. Well, that's cancelled for you now, Mr. King. Thank you. And that was it.
Bastards. They always make it hard, don't they, King?
Oh, tremendously difficult
They make it so difficult, and they're such evil people. You should just run them over, really. Next time you see one in the street, just plough straight through them. Leave them for dead.
Or I'll just say thank you for getting the registration number wrong.
Yeah.
And allowing me to make a simple call to the council.
I'm quite tempted to run you over for such a boring anecdote. I thought you had something juicy to come off of it. But...
Oh, sorry. I can make something up if you want.
Oh, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, let's make it up.
So, in fact, I didn't get off of the parking charge, and because I refused to pay it, I'll be going to prison for 34 days.
Sweet. Well done, King. You're free.
Thank you. I've achieved freedom.
King beat the system.
I beat the system, yeah.
Yeah. Even when parking illegally.
And that's a lesson to everyone out there, isn't it? If you really want to, you can beat the system.
Yeah. Fake plates is all you need.
Yeah. Fuck the power, fuck the police, and fuck the system with fake number plates.
I didn't use a fake number plate.
So King, are you going to go back into parking in disabled spaces now?
I don't park in disabled spaces.
He does, doesn't he? With his fake number plate, so he gets away with it.
That's not true. I park in spaces that on the road say disabled, but there's no sign, which means they're no longer a disabled space. So it's just a regular parking space.
So
you're a stickler for the rules, aren't you?
I love a good rule.
To confirm,
Throwing the book
King,
at them.
You do park in disabled spaces.
I park in former disabled spaces.
The parking space formerly known as disabled.
A lot of people don't realise that because it says disabled on the road where the space is, they immediately think that they can't park there at all.
As you would.
Yeah, obviously. But if there's no sign on a wall or railings or whatever it is that's next to that space that defines it as a disabled space, then it's not a disabled space. So it probably was at some point, but whoever had it there probably no longer lives there. So they've removed the signs. And there are a couple near me.
Does that mean I can park on double yellow lines that used to be double yellow lines?
If they're double yellow lines, they're still double yellow lines, John.
But how do we know for sure?
Park on them and try and find out.
Yeah, park on them and let us know.
Can I park on a pavement that used to be a pavement?
I think you've missed the point of this.
Can I drive through a town centre that used to be a town centre? Can I run someone over who used to be a person?
Hang on. What do you mean they used to be a person? Well, they're a ghost now.
Yeah. There's a whole box of possibilities now. I like that. Thanks for the expert automotive advice, King. I'm going to get experimenting now.
Good.
Ben, how often do you park your train? Does it have parking sensors?
It's right when it's on a track, isn't it? It's easy.
Alright.
Show off.
On topic of parking attendants, although we did say that we don't mind parking attendants in the previous episode, did you see what they were doing in London after the terrorist attacks?
Yeah, disgraceful.
They cordoned off London Bridge, didn't they, for a couple of days just to do their stuff, collect evidence or whatever. And then apparently within sort of, I don't know, something silly like half an hour of the police removing the cordon, a load of people that had their cars there that they couldn't move because of the terrorist attack had bloody parking tickets put on them, which is absolutely outrageous. That is just disgusting.
Disgraceful.
I don't know what to say really about that. It's just yeah, technically they're parked illegally, but they must have known there was a cordon there, so that's just bang out of order.
Well, parking attendants are kind of like the terrorists of motoring, aren't they?
I was going to describe them more like vampires, but
Or sucking the life out of motorists.
out of motorist pockets.
Yeah.
I'm all for ticketing people if they've parked in stupid places or, abusing the system, but that's
Yeah,
just,
absolutely.
that's piss poor. It really is. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, hopefully someone gives them a massive clip round the ear for it.
Yeah. And obviously cancel the tickets.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure that must have been done. I'm sure it must have.
A few weeks ago, I went out to visit Coy's again. I made the video on the Porsche 959 Cabriolet a while back. Because I didn't crash it or wreck it or abuse anyone while I was there, they invited me back to drive another car. And that car was a 1974 Aston Martin V8. And it was lovely. Big British piece of muscle, basically. Required a really strong hand to drive properly. There's going to be an article out about it sometime before the Goodwood Festival of Speed, I think, because we want to sort of time it so it goes out with that. So that'll be going on influx.co.uk, and you can have a look and see what my full thoughts on the car were on that article. But it was a hell of a car, and of course, for an occasion like that, there can be no other suitable accessory than that of leather driving gloves.
Did you actually... Were they your driving gloves or did you nick them?
No.
Coy's?
Gwith from Coy's, he let me borrow the driving gloves for the day.
Do they only have one pair?
Oh, I don't know actually.
It's just the way he said, he let me borrow the driving gloves.
The driving gloves, yeah, they're in a little case. You have to open it with a golden key. No, driving gloves and Aston Martin, it's got to be done, isn't it? Really, it was such a lovely car. It got so much attention from people as well. People love it because it's it's kind of like our heritage, isn't it? It's a British car, and we were driving around the South Downs and stopping off in pubs and stuff. And while we were in the pub, like other people drove like some classic cars in there as well. I think there was a Jaguar XK turned up or something like that. One of those 1960s or 50s ones, I think. And people all wanted to know about the car. They wanted to ask us questions about it. What is it like? What does it do? What's it worth? All sorts of questions like that. And it was great, because you can have a chat with people, tell them about the car, sort of share it with them a bit. And
it's nice to have a car that has that sort of, invokes that sort of passion with people.
Yeah, it is, because it wasn't attracting negative attention. It was like, oh wow, like a classic Aston Martin. People really love that car because it's classy and it's associated with kind of heroic British people, I suppose. James Bond, Tim Farron from the Liberal Democrats. Heroes. So it was great. People were really warm to it, and we had a really great time taking it out. So, and I won't spoil it much more because obviously you probably want to just read the article about it, where I actually articulate my thoughts much better than I do on this podcast. But yeah, great car, beautiful thing to drive, a real man's car, I would say, without being sexist. It takes a strong hand to wield it because it's it's a beast. It's just a massive beast. That engine up the front it weighs a ton. The steering's quite firm. The wheel is always moving, so like you have to correct the car all of the time. Like, it doesn't go straight at any point. So you're always like driving like
you do in the movies.
In the movies, yeah, in the movie cinema.
Well, in order to indicate that you're driving by moving your hands constantly.
By moving your hands. That is how it drives, and it was great. It was absolutely great, and I really want one now. But £100,000 for that one.
Ouch! It was lovely though.
It was worth every penny. Definitely, it was really, really special. But yeah, I'm not going to have £100,000 anytime soon, so not going to be buying that one, unfortunately. But if I ever get rich, I really fancy a classic Aston Martin now, because just what an absolute legend you'd be if you had a classic Aston. You'd be a legend. Everyone would say, "Look at that guy.
He's a legend.
He's a fucking legend, driving his classic Aston around everywhere." So yeah.
Do you want us to set up a Kickstarter page for you, Johnny?
Yeah, can you actually?
We'll do a Kickstarter for the gloves, shall we? Let's start small.
Yeah.
All right then. Yeah, I mean, I'll throw in 50p to get it going if you like. Just so people can see that someone wants me to have driving gloves. I'll do it anonymously. I'll do it as Mr. P. Edwards from Derbyshire.
P. Edwards? Where have you got that from?
Oh, he wrote us a letter. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, P. Edwards from Derbyshire. So yeah,
more on that later.
Yeah, but I'll do it as him, and hopefully people will donate to my driving glove fund. I don't want polyester ones.
On the subject of appropriate attire for driving an Aston Martin.
Mm.
The other day, I witnessed someone driving DB9, I think it was, and this man had no shirt on.
Huh.
Sorry, that's going to get edited.
Wow.
Out. Yeah, sorry.
We may have to do some editing on this episode.
There'll be some editing in this episode. There is no way you should be driving an Aston Martin without a shirt on. What kind of person are you if you drive an Aston Martin? An Aston Martin is classy. If you drive a car topless, you should be driving a pimped out Vauxhall Corsa with a shitty exhaust pipe and lowered rims. I think that's a thing in the editing world. Editing? Adjustment? Modifying, that's the one. Yeah. Editing and adjustment.
Are you into car editing? Oh, yes.
I'm going to edit my car this weekend, mate. Massive.
You want to see the job I did editing my Ford Probe?
Yeah,
Oh.
I edited it a treat. Yeah, you can't drive an Aston Martin topless. There is only one word for you if you drive an Aston Martin topless, and I hope that person is listening to this podcast now, so he knows exactly what we think of him, because everybody else is thinking the same. Get a life, mate. I mean, you've got an Aston, so you're doing quite well. But, maybe just get a shirt and a jacket.
Maybe we can set up a Kickstarter for the man to get a shirt.
Yeah, but don't make
Get that
people give
Pratt
money
shirt.
towards him. He's got an Aston Martin. I want people to give money to me so I can have driving gloves.
Yeah, but getting the Aston Martin has obviously cost him the shirt off his back.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why we're starting small for you, John.
Okay.
We'll get the clothing in place first, and then get the
I was
car.
going to say, as long as Johnny wears something other than the gloves, because if he's just in gloves, that'd be a terrifying thing.
That'll be in my 2018 calendar.
That'll be the point when Coys go, do you know what, you're not coming back again. You've left a sweaty mark on the chair.
Gloves
Please leave.
and a plant pot. I think that's how it works, isn't it? Sexy calendars? Plant pot?
I wouldn't know.
Well, let's find out next year, shall we? When my sexy Johnny calendar comes out.
Sexy Johnny calendar. I don't think that's quite
Ben, I'll
right,
give
John.
you a signed copy.
Thanks. Please sign it with a pen.
Well, recently, Jonny and I took a little trip to Haynes Motor Museum, didn't we, John?
Yeah.
Ben wasn't there.
No. He's never there, is he? Bottled it.
I wasn't invited.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true actually. Sorry, Ben.
Bastards.
Anyway, they've
Wrong
recently
way,
had a large refurbishment, and it was really good, wasn't it, John?
Yeah, it was good, actually. It's a decent little museum, really. I think it's a bit expensive, probably.
How much was it?
It's like 20 quid each, something, wasn't it? 18?
Yeah, 19, I think it was.
Yeah,
That is quite large,
that is.
to be fair.
Yeah, because it's not the biggest of places. But no, it was good. There's a really good selection of cars on display there. All sorts of stuff from way back in the Victorian times, all the way through to the modern times, as I believe the present is called. So yeah, there's a really good selection of stuff in there. There's a Duesenberg in there, which is worth
Yeah.
many pennies. What else do we see? There's a little like collection of Lotuses. There's a room full of red cars.
The Red Room.
The Red Room, yeah, which has got like Alphas and
MGs.
MGs. There's a Ferrari in there. There's a Gordon Keeble in there. There's all sorts of stuff in there, which is really really good. I think there's a Di Tommaso in there as well, isn't there? Or Maserati.
There's a Maserati.
Maserati.
Um,
Merak.
Merak, yeah.
So yeah, great selection of cars. Really interesting. There's a big area outside the back where all the kids can go. So once you get sick of them asking questions or running around, you can throw them out of the back and they can pedal around on something whilst you go and have a really stiff drink in the restaurant, which is ideal, really. I guess that's what parents do.
The restaurant was good as well.
It was, wasn't it? What did we have? You had a pasty, didn't you?
No. I had cottage pie, and you had some kind of chicken
Oh, I had roast
You had that
chicken.
roast
Yeah,
chicken.
roast chicken. Yeah, it was really nice.
breast, yeah.
Roast chicken with some veg. Yeah, really, really nice roast chicken. Actually, really succulent. Actually, it was really well cooked. Big chicken, I think it was as well. I don't think it was one of these like weedy chickens.
It must have been a massive chicken
It
for
was
the
a-
amount of chicken breasts that they had in there.
It was huge, Ben. It was genetically enhanced. I'm sure of it. That chicken had pretty much implants for most of its life, I reckon. I mean, it was absolutely
you on about?
stank, mate. But I'll tell you what, hell of a tasty.
Sorry, yeah, we've got a bit distracted there, haven't we?
No,
So we went to the restaurant and had some dinner after we'd been round the museum.
I think I had chicken.
And then, anyway, then we trundled over to the go-karting circuit, which was attached to the Haynes Motor Museum.
Yeah.
Which apparently Jensen Button used to drive on back in the day.
Good fact.
Oh,
Apparently.
well done, Ben.
Yeah.
To be fair, on the subject of go-karts, they had Prince William and Prince Harry's go-karts on display in the museum. So
Why did they go
there's something. Well,
So
because they were
obviously-
normal people too.
Yeah, obviously those are the ones we borrowed.
Because normal
from
people
Grace.
have go-karts.
Yeah, some normal people do. Jensen Button's a normal person.
Yeah, he looks fairly normal.
Yeah.
He seems like a nice bloke. You're just jealous, Ben, because you don't even have a car.
Fair point. So how was the go-karting track?
Really good.
Yeah, really,
Really
good,
enjoyable.
good circuit. Really had its challenges.
I thought it was quite reasonably priced as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was. What we paid, like 24 quid?
For
20
minutes. Yeah.
Which is quite a long time go-karting.
Yeah. It was in 2 10-minute spells, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2 little races of 10.
Did you have to play with other plebs? Or did they let you
Yeah,
join
there
in?
were other people on the circuit with us.
Yeah, I got punted off by
One
some
person
kids.
put John in a wall.
Yeah,
Ah,
tit.
fantastic.
Yeah, and I nearly put him in an ambulance when we stopped the race as well. I had strong words with someone. I can't remember who. I don't think it was even the right person.
No, it was quite entertaining actually, because this was during the first 10-minute race, and I witnessed the incident. I was probably about sort of 10 or 15 meters back from seeing the incident, and then I just thought just driving around afterwards, I thought John's not going to be happy about this. This is going to have ruined his day. And so we get out the carts at the end, and then John just goes straight up to the only person who's still just getting out of his cart and just confronts him, and he's like, "Did you put me in the wall? Was that you?" And this poor guy, who I'm pretty sure wasn't the person who put him in the wall, was obviously so polite that he was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry, mate. Oh, I'm so sorry."
Johnny Thug.
That was
Okay.
enough to sort
Horrendous.
of calm me down though. Once I'd had an apology,
Yeah.
I
It
went
was
went
very
back to the
strange.
shed and had a rant with Kingy about the incompetence of other drivers. A bit like what we do on the motorway actually. And then jumped back in the cart for the next race and was frustrated by the fact my cart seemed to be 3 seconds slower than everybody else's cart, despite the fact I was driving the tits off it.
It's not all about speed, Johnny.
Well, it is. It was all about setting lap times, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works, Ben. And to be honest, I'd actually only take advice off someone who actually owns a car and knows about driving. So, so yeah, if I want any advice on catching trains, Ben, I'll give you a call. Yeah,
You do need a bit of guidance on trains, don't you? You've had a few
I
mares
do.
in the past.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, trains are a nightmare for me. So easy to get lost on trains, honestly.
Said no one ever.
Well, not when you're on it, but like in between, in between being on the train. I always get the wrong seat as well. I always sit in someone else's seat, and they're like, "Oh, can you move, please?" I'm like, no, booked it, and then it's like, no, I didn't. But like, where is my seat that I booked then? Because it doesn't make sense. Like, why is that 32C and this one is 32C as well? What's going on? I have no idea what's going on the train.
There can't be 2 of the same seat.
Well, there is.
Different carriage, maybe.
Oh, I don't know. Don't even know how that works either. Drive, just drive.
Anyway, go back to the go-karting. So we got some nice little printouts afterwards, didn't we, from the go-karting guys? And
Yeah, we did.
and we took the average lap figures and compared, and John was 1/100th of a second quicker than I was on average.
That's not bad.
But since I'm carrying an extra 9 kilos of weight to John,
Yeah.
we worked out that might mean that I'm slightly faster if I wasn't so fat.
I think King would probably be faster if he wasn't so fat. But again, I would be faster if I wasn't so fat as well.
And if you had slightly lower blood pressure. 'Cause that
Yeah,
might upset you.
yeah.
That's true.
If I had lower blood pressure, I reckon I could have shaved a second off that time.
Yeah, because just think you were probably still processing that big pump that you had.
Yeah, so the blood pressure would be even higher. It was probably 200 over 179 at that point. Like it was like pumping syrup around my body. And that's probably why I tensed up and wasn't as quick as I should have been. Otherwise, probably would have had the lap record, to be honest.
I imagine if you just pricked a finger or something, it would have come out like custard.
It would have been like, and it would have solidified on impact with the floor as well. It would have been
People
like
would have been
that.
skidding on it behind you.
You
on
know
the
when
track. It would have been
Chernobyl
terrible.
melted down, and there's that big like uranium like stub at the bottom of Chernobyl.
Yeah.
It would have looked like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and probably just as radioactive as well.
So there we go. Don't affect Johnny's blood pressure or
No.
you'll end up like Chernobyl.
Yeah, and also if you affect my blood pressure, I can't go as fast, and you know That's no fun, is it?
That's just cheating.
Yes, unsporting. Also, if you go to Haynes, have the roast chicken. Really nice. Really thick breast fillets in the Haynes restaurant. Really, really like that. Yeah.
Do you know what I like about Haynes? Is on their website they talk about the different things you can do there, and they say it's family fun. And they've got a section for under 4s, 4 to 12, teenagers, and grandparents. So if you take your grandparents,
Well, that's why we took Kingy.
exactly.
They've got a whole room full
how
of
did you find it?
old Vauxhalls and
Yeah.
Fords.
They said no,
Rovers.
something along the lines of,
Oh, yeah,
"Oh,
the
you take
Rovers.
your grandparents, and they might find a car that they used to drive." Oh, bloody marvellous!
That seems a bit offensive,
That
doesn't
is
it?
a little bit offensive, yeah. Did you write that, Ben?
I don't think so.
No. Oh, okay. I'll let you off then.
Thanks very much. That is quite funny though. Oh, are you even targeting grandparents? Maybe they've got little go-karts you can push them around in so they don't have to walk.
Can grandparents use go-karts?
I don't know.
Anyone can use a go-kart.
Is there an age limit on go-karts?
What about those mobility scooters? Maybe you get a free mobility scooter to drive around with.
Oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Mobility scooter go-karting?
race. Yeah. Get 5
Amazing.
or 6 mobility scooters out and a bunch of mates who've had a bit too much to drink and try and drive them around a go-karting circuit.
This sounds like a stag do idea.
It
If
does.
only we knew someone that was getting married soon.
Yeah. We could organise that, couldn't we?
Can we do it
Never
with golf carts as well, just to spice it up a bit?
No, that wouldn't be safe.
They're a bit big.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might roll over as well and you might get a burn.
Twizzies.
Even more fun.
Twizzy.
Twizzies, yes.
Fucking hell, yeah. Now we're talking. Twizzies. Oh, I love Twizzies. I mean, they're really good.
We do have a review of the Twizzy on our website. No, what do we have it on? YouTube? That one. That's not
Look
our
at that.
website.
That
But
was
we
a
have a
subtle. That was a subtle link, wasn't it?
I didn't like that. I thought that sounded like a plug.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, I don't like that. Take your plugs
Wow.
elsewhere, Ben. Do it on your own podcast.
King, have you ever thought about getting hair plugs?
Do you know? I was just about to offensively say to you, "That's why you've got such nice hair, isn't it? Because of all the hair plugs."
What's a hair plug?
Oh, if your hair falls out, you can do what Wayne Rooney did and get hair plugs.
I thought it was an implant.
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
what they call it, I think.
I
I'm
thought
not an
they-
expert.
Isn't that
No,
where
neither am
they
I.
take your hairs off your leg and sort of glue them?
I thought they took him out of his arse.
Was it out of his arse?
Mm.
Isn't that the thing to do? You take the hairs off your arse and stick them on your head.
I don't know. I suppose it'd make use of them, wouldn't it?
Don't know.
Why do we have hairy asses in the first place? Makes no sense.
I'm not entirely sure if this is going to make it into the episode.
If you're sat down, you don't need to be warm, do you? You don't need the hairs to trap the air to keep your ass warm. So you can just sit down if you've got a cold arse.
But I think probably in terms of survival of the fittest, you're probably not meant to spend so much time sitting down, are we?
Well, it depends.
Well, if you had to run away from a predator...
Just use a drone to scare it off. Fly the drone towards it with a flag on it,
Yeah, but
and that would intimidate it.
that's not quite how survival of the fittest works. I'm thinking more along the lines of just general biology.
Yeah, evolution of the gene pool hasn't happened since drones have...
The human body doesn't know
developed.
that we have drones to scare off predators.
Oh, 5 years ago someone invented a drone. I'll tell you what, I'm going to drop all the hairs off your ass. That's what the DNA's doing at the moment.
I wish evolution was like that. That would be great, wouldn't it?
Regular mutations. Oh, the weather's changed.
Just like updates. Updates.
Like Android
Yeah,
or
like
Windows or something.
yeah. You know, Android does like marshmallow updates occasionally. You never get any marshmallows, though. It's ridiculous.
Oh, tell me about it.
It could like inform the human body that, you know, we've invented a drone, and as such we don't need hairy arse anymore because we can scare predators away with drones with flags on to intimidate them. Actually, we don't. Do we even have predators anymore?
Isn't Elon Musk working on this?
What, polar bears?
No, he's not working on polar bears.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure Elon Musk.
He's working
has
on
got
tunnels.
No, I'm pretty sure he's got a cybernetic enhancement company.
Oh, sorry, yeah, the AI stuff.
Yeah. So that you can.
That's nothing to do with your genealogy, though, is it?
No, but you get neurological implants. I think that's the end game. So there's
Yeah,
no reason to say that you couldn't have brain-based upgrades.
Yeah, but that's nothing to do with your hairy ass.
No, but I'm just saying.
It's just intelligence.
No, but the principle is the same, isn't it, Ben?
No,
Ben.
Come on.
at all.
Ben, do you not even do biology anymore? Sounds like you don't know what you're on about.
You're talking out your hairy ass. That's what you're doing.
Nice. Fair play.
Well done, Ben. Well, we've had a letter come into the Smooth Traffic office from P. Edwards in Derbyshire, who has asked us the question. He's asked us the question: what would you rather fight? Would you rather fight 100 hamster-sized dogs or a dog-sized hamster? A sensible question indeed, Mr.
That is a
Edwards.
very good question.
or Mrs. Edwards. You
Well,
haven't
I
put
mean-
a title on it.
First of all, thanks to P. Edwards for writing in, and
Yes.
for more importantly, thanks for figuring out our address,
Yeah, that's
because that's half of the battle,
pretty top secret.
if not in fact 95% of the battle.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the biggest obstacle, sending us a letter, knowing the address. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, thanks for that. So would I rather fight 100 dog-sized hamsters or one hamster-sized dog?
I think it's the other way around.
Yeah, I'm confused.
I'm not
100
sure it'd be that tricky to fight single.
Hamster-sized dogs. Like, imagine a little herd of hamster-sized dogs, right? Running around like some mad slobbery things.
Right.
Or a dog-sized hamster.
Right, okay. I was going to say, yeah, because one hamster-sized dog, I'd definitely take that on.
Yeah, I mean, punch it right in the mouth.
Well,
It would go down.
I'd just put it under a bucket.
Oh, yeah.
Job done.
I would put it under the bucket first, and then when it's not expecting it, like maybe wait until it's had time to
No, I think just
fall
having it
asleep.
under the... I'm not going to kill it.
Well, that's the idea, isn't it?
It's a fight king. He wants to kill you.
It's a
But
brutal fight to the death, King, like in the animal world.
But it's a miracle of science.
It's also
The hamster-sized dog.
or it's a perversion of genetic science. We're not sure which.
True. But anyway, we're talking about a dog-sized hamster,
Yeah,
aren't we?
a dog.
So a dog-sized hamster
Yeah.
or 100 hamster-sized dogs?
It's a tough one.
It is, because obviously...
100 hamster-sized dogs would be just well annoying, wouldn't it?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
you could
because...
just clean it out with a golf club, couldn't you?
Yeah.
It'd be like,
Yeah, but there's 100 of them.
yeah, but you know, like Sauron in Lord of the Rings in the fight scenes. he's huge, isn't he? He just waves his big thing around and just wipes
I
out
beg your pardon.
waves and waves of elf people and humans on horses. So 100 hamster-sized dogs, you could just wave a golf club around.
Ah, but they'd nibble you and it'd be very uncomfortable.
Yeah, but you could just but you know the bites wouldn't be too severe, would they?
Well, you say that.
I
If
think
you've ever been stung by 100 bees, that'd hurt.
I think the thing we've got to remember here is that they're dogs. Regardless of the fact that they're hamster-sized, they're dogs. So it's basically like being attacked by a pack of angry wolves. They're
Okay.
tiny,
But they're
a
very
pack
angry.
A pack of angry wolves.
So tiny angry wolves.
They're angry because they're so small.
What
They've
about
got a Napoleon complex.
Yeah. What about a shotgun? A 6-round shotgun. You could probably blast out most of the.
Where are you going to get a shotgun from?
I don't know. Farmer.
This has come out of nowhere, Johnny. You know, they're just all coming at you, and you've got to make a
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah, this isn't a pre-planned fight. You haven't got old what's his name Don King
I know what you need to do.
doing the preamble.
Oh, that's not fair. I'd want a big build up to it. You know, I want it promoted properly. You need to take the high ground first of all, don't you?
How big's the
Because-
dog?
The dog.
Well, it's hamster sized.
Yeah, hamster sized.
No, how big? The single
Oh, the hamster.
dog-sized hamster. Yeah,
It's
sorry, yeah, the
dog-sized.
hamster. How big's the dog that it's the
Oh,
size
yeah,
of?
that's a good point actually. What kind of dog is it? P. Edwards hasn't given us much
No.
scope here.
Well, let's just assume they're
One of those big.
German Shepherd size.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like attack dogs.
He's got big
used
teeth.
in the European army. You know,
Yeah,
those-
like a Doberman or a
like
okay.
something that could really have a right go. I reckon first you need to do is take the high ground, so jump on a car, and
Right.
then you know what you're going to do?
Jump on the back of the hamster.
You're going to elbow drop them. You're going to keep climbing and keep jumping off and elbow dropping them, and then eventually, if you land 100 consecutive elbow drops, you will emerge victorious.
So are we still talking about the little ones here?
Yeah, the hamster-sized
Dogs.
hamster-sized dogs. Yeah. Although a hamster the size of a dog, that would be quite vicious, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because they've got big teeth, haven't they?
Are they very mobile though? Do you think you'd be able to, if you could run around it?
Have you ever seen one on a wheel, Ben?
That's
They go like the
a good shout.
clappers.
Does it have a wheel? Because that would make it quite terrifying.
Well, no, it doesn't have a wheel.
It'd be like a zorbing, wouldn't it?
So we're putting it in a Zorb.
Basically.
That'd be
But
one
then
way
it
to-
won't be able to bite us.
Yeah, it wouldn't be able to bite us. You can just push it down a hill and laugh at it.
Perfect. There you are. That's my decision made then.
Okay.
Put it in a zorb.
How are you going to put it in the Zorb, Ben?
I put some treats in there. Hamsters quite like eating things, don't they? Like clothes
Oh,
and
they
stuff.
do,
so
yeah.
put like a woolly jumper in there and it'd be well over it. Perfect.
Okay, so yeah,
Stupid hamster. Doesn't understand.
you can lure a stupid hamster into a Zorb ball and then push it down a hill and get rid of it.
Regardless of the size of the hamster.
Yeah. Regardless, you could just laugh at it just going down the hill like, ha, look at that hamster go, he's really fed up. But the dogs, you're going to have to elbow drop them. There's no other way.
Even though there's 100 of them.
Even though there's 100 of them, you're just going to have to keep getting back up and just elbow dropping them again.
So are we saying that we'd rather fight a dog-sized hamster than 100 hamster-sized dogs?
Yes, unless we have 100.
No, it's just you by yourself.
But, you know, if we've got equipment, I'm thinking, what if we have 100 marble-sized tennis balls?
I was just going to say, golf ball-sized tennis balls.
Yeah.
We're away.
And then we can just throw them, and then 100 dogs will just go after them. And then whilst they're chasing after them, just run like the clappers, basically. But I'm not sure that counts as a victory.
So you want basically a tennis ball launcher, but mini.
Yeah, like a paintball gun, but loaded with tennis balls. Could you defeat 100 hamster-sized dogs with a paintball gun?
As opposed to a regular gun?
By like blinding them, you mean?
Well, just by just covering them in paint, basically. We'll just get a bucket of paint and throw it over them. It's a big bucket of emulsion. They're not going to get up from that, are they? They're just going to be rolling around in paint, getting high on fumes. Probably eventually passing out.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Throw a bottle of vodka over them and then light them.
That's a bit harsh.
Oh,
Also,
yeah.
what a waste of vodka.
It's alright, it's not... The RSPCA aren't going to sanction this anyway, are they?
Well, they're obviously not going to sanction it, no.
Is that the governing body for animal fights?
Do we think that P. Edwards, in fact, works for the RSPCA? And
It's a
because
trap.
of your dislike of horses, John, they're trying to lure you into making some comments that mean they can arrest you.
There's no point in horses, is there?
What do you mean?
There is just no point in horses. They don't do anything. They just run really fast. What else do they do?
Well, you could say there's no point in
Hamsters.
cheetahs then.
Yeah, but
They just run really fast.
cheetahs can hunt things. So if you trained one, you could set one on a
I don't think
neighbour.
you have to train a cheetah to hunt things. I think it's just natural.
But I want it to catch people. So like I train it to like hunt one of the neighbours or something that, you know, I don't like, and then just set the cheetah on them. But like you can't train a horse to hunt someone.
Why would you want to?
Well, it'd just make use of it, wouldn't it? Horses don't have a use. They're not good for anything.
I'm not even going to go down this road.
Anyway, so if anyone else would like to write in with a question for us, well, good luck finding our address.
Yeah.
But please do try. P. Edwards got through. The
We're
undercover RSPCA officer.
We're happy to answer your questions on... Well, just difficult questions. I feel like that's a question that someone asked P. Edwards. He struggled with it and he thought the only people that I can rely on to get an answer out of is smooth traffic. And of course the answer is
Fight
It
dog
depends,
single
is the answer.
dog-sized hamster.
a dog-sized hamster or bottle of vodka or bucket of paint and throw it over all the mini dogs. But you can lure a hamster in with treats. Ben's right about that. So, yeah, Zorb ball, hamster, treats,
Done.
do them.
As you know, we tested a few electric cars recently. Now, the biggest issue so far, obviously, with electric cars is that the range is never quite there. Recently, we've seen a couple of examples of how they think they can sort of overcome the problem with, you know, batteries not being big enough. Renault have demonstrated something which I think is pretty pointless, which is like they call it dynamic vehicle charging. Basically, changing roads to add almost like a sort of non-contact charging plate on it. So as you drive along, it charges your car.
So it's like being a monorail.
Sort of. I don't think you.
Isn't that a dodgem?
I don't think there's any sort of like connection with the road as such. I think it's wireless charging, but it's an interesting idea. But I just can't see anyone thinking it's a good idea to sort of dig up motorways and put this new this new expensive road down. It just seems completely pointless. I suppose it's just demonstrating the technology.
I suppose if you get
But it's a bit
if you
pointless.
get to a certain point where there's enough uptake in electric car sales to make it financially viable, then maybe they'll look at it then. But
I kind of think like by the time that happens, batteries will have improved enough, and the
Yeah.
cost of digging up motorways and how long has it taken to talk about sort of HS2 and stuff like that? You know, it could be 50 years by the time they actually put enough electric, charging road in place to actually be used, and by that point they probably won't be using it anymore. So
no, we'll
it
have
just
flying
seems
cars by then. So
well, exactly.
They can't
We'll
even
be flying around in drones.
They can't even do the potholes. So there's no chance of anyone digging up and putting some sort of gizmo in the road, is there?
No, so it seems a bit silly. But anyway, there's another bit of sort of battery. Well, it's not quite battery tech, but electric car tech that someone's developing, which is a lot more interesting. So instead of using a solid battery, they're basically using like an electrolyte
a
solution.
liquid battery.
Yeah.
Oh.
So so basically, the idea is that you have this. I think it's sort of like an ethanol sort of solution.
What, whiskey?
That's it. And it's a fluid electrolyte basically that you put in your vehicle like you would do with petrol or diesel, and that's sort of charged. So it takes the electricity from the fluid, and then the idea is that you go back to a petrol station, you pump out the old stuff and pump in some fresh charged fluid, and off you go again.
It's an awful lot of pumping, isn't it?
It's a bit of pumping, but
It sounds a bit like just going to the petrol station.
oh, exactly, and that's the point. So you could, refuel your car in a matter of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, like you would do when putting petrol in, except it would be an electric car.
If you spill the water,
Ooh.
the electric water, will it give you a shock? And 2, will it create one of those video game style electric water puddles that any enemies go into, get electrocuted and take damage?
Let's say yes, so be really careful.
It's not safe and we're not doing it.
Is it going to be like if you use LPG? Don't the filler things actually like lock into the car before you can actually fill them up
Oh, that's boring,
for added
isn't
protection? So is it going to be like that?
I think it's a little bit of a concept, but yeah, you would assume so. But I think this is a completely different take on sort of charging electric cars, and it's essentially as near as damn it instant. So I think that's a really it's got a lot of potential for something.
I mean,
that
it's
could
interesting,
be useful.
but I just don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about having to sort of flush my car out at the petrol station before I can then fill it up again.
It's a bit like having a wee on a service station, isn't it? You stop there, you empty everything out,
Yeah,
and then you put some more stuff in.
Like having a caravan.
I'm sure it can be done simultaneously as well. It would be fine.
How does that
Take
work?
no
then?
time at all.
Like with it happening at the same time, can you pump in and pump out at the same time?
Depends if you have a separate tank for
Yeah.
spent fluid or not.
Good question, John.
Ooh. Anyway, that's a minor point, isn't it? But yeah, I just thought that's actually something that could potentially
Bore me to death.
revolutionise it. Isn't it?
It's interesting, but I mean, it's just a load of bollocks, isn't it? It's like all these electric cars that are like, oh, we've built a new electric supercar. All right, how many horsepower does it have? No, don't tell me. Is it 1,000? Yeah, it's 1,000. Oh, that's great. When's it coming out? Well, it's just like we've just done a lap of the Nürburgring at the moment, so probably in like 2 years. 2 years later, yeah. Where's your electric supercar? Oh, we didn't build it anymore.
Actually, talking of where's your electric supercar, where's Faraday Future
I think they've gone for a bit more funding
that we
again.
discussed?
Ben's favourite car company.
No, it's not Tesla, is it?
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, we discussed that. It must be at least 12 episodes ago, which probably means a year at least by our standards these days.
Probably 2.
So, yeah, what's happened to them? They were all over everything. They were getting into Formula E and all that. And
What a load of shit they were talking, though. Far away future. They will always be called far away future because it's never going to happen. They're going to go under the pan soon. Everyone's going to demand their money back. Bold prediction.
Yeah, I think the trouble is, Johnny, you don't get your money
that's
back
not how investment works.
Oh, yeah.
because if they go down the pan, they take your money
Can't
with
you
you.
buy up their office or something?
Yeah.
You don't buy offices, you rent offices. How many times do I have to tell you this?
Can't you buy an office at
Well,
all?
I mean, you could buy an office.
Well, why won't you buy an office then?
Well, I mean, no.
It's not a great investment when you're a
It makes more
startup, Johnny.
sense to rent.
I don't know. I might buy one.
To live in.
Yeah. Yeah. as
Smooth
long as
traffic
there's,
offices.
a shower in it. It's alright, isn't it? I think what I'm after is a house.
So you may remember recently we were discussing on Twitter, branching out a little from just the car chat that we normally do.
Yeah.
And we had a little bit of feedback from people, and hopefully over the last couple of episodes we've not completely put you off listening to us with our strange ramblings about Aaron Ramsey killing people and other such random bits and bobs.
The chicken at Haynes Motor Museum.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Thanks for that input, John. So, as part of this, we've actually been in contact with another podcast called Not the Special Edition, which is a movie podcast done by Miles and Kit. And we've agreed with them that at some point we're going to do some form of crossover episode, whereby maybe they review a car and we review a movie. So we just thought we'd, get people ready for that by mentioning it. Let us know what you think of that idea on Twitter. If you think it's terrible, maybe we won't do it. If you think we can review a movie,
No, it shouldn't really matter what they think. We should just do what we want to do.
said Bernie Eccleston.
It's worth having listened to their podcast anyway, because it is quite funny if you like knob jokes and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're comfortable with a lot of penis and porn jokes, and you have a general love for
film and such.
films and the movie industry,
Is
then
it
yeah.
adult films?
No, just regular films.
Oh, that's alright. That'd be hard to review.
Pun intended?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, not the special edition, which is a good solid movie podcast. I think, like us, they don't take themselves too seriously. They seem to have a good laugh, and they do enjoy a quiz as well.
Ooh, game shows and quizzes.
Yeah.
Oh, they just turn me on.
Who, Miles and Kit or game shows?
I'm not sure. Something about it. Well, sadly, that brings us to the end of episode 38 of Smooth Traffic. If you'd enjoyed listening to this podcast, you should probably do a few things for us in return, like liking the podcast, subscribing to the podcast, visiting our YouTube channel, and generally publicising that we do a podcast and telling people how great it is. So please do that. And follow us on Twitter if you like, @SmoothTraffic. You can send us messages occasionally. You can also follow us individually on the Twitter by using @RobertKingESQ, @the Jonny Edge, and @the_Face_of_Ben. God knows why you would want to follow Ben though. He's dull as fuck. Also, you can also follow us on Tinder and Facebook. So log on to those apps, and don't forget to hit the like button and swipe left.
Like you don't know.
Or swipe right. Swipe upwards.
We're not on Tinder, so this is irrelevant.
as a collective, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
about
as a
this.
collective. Yeah, we're in it for long-term love as well, Ben. So none of your fucking shenanigans, all right? Anyway, thanks for listening to this episode 36 or something of Smooth Traffic, and we'll catch you on the next episode, which will probably be in the 40s. So, bye-bye for now. Thank you. Bye-bye.